You know, the one cue that we cannot look away from is that FOMC meet that we've been talking rates by a quarter point, like I said earlier as well, marking its last meeting under President Biden. Despite a recent inflation uptick, then the Fed is signaling a cautious approach to future cuts, balancing strong economic growth along with fiscal uncertainty ahead of Trump's return to the White House and rate steady in their policy decisions later this week. So it does look like it's the week of policy decisions.
All right, a lot of central bank policy meetings has to happen today, Shreyansi rightly said. But then talking about the British economy, that one shrank by 0.1% in the month of October, and this had gains in telecom space. The Office for National Statistics noted sluggish performance in oil and gas space, retail space, as well as the hospitality sectors.
Alright, then shifting focus to Beijing, then China will continue its stimulus push according to the central bank as it plans to cut interest rates and reserve requirement, missing expectations and also reflecting weak credit demand. In fact, Beijing aims to boost growth with higher deficits, more debt and looser monetary policy, something that the Politburo also talked about, targeting 5% GDP growth for 2025.
All right, shifting focus to South, that he is in talks with US President Biden, pledged stability in the country's policies and its alliance with the US. Meanwhile, the opposition has decided not to impeach Han, citing concerns over governance. We spoke to Professor Madhav Das Nalapta, Director of
North Koreans moving at this point, frankly, they're more in a defensive mode. But certainly North Korea will be very happy because I think President Yoon took a very pro-Western stance. For example, he unnecessarily got South Korea involved in the Ukraine conflict. Ukraine was not really his problem. Neither was it the problem of Japan. Both in Japan and in South Korea, they made the mistake of going with the European line rather than understanding that they are Asian countries and the problem is in the Indo-Pacific. Their problem is not in the Atlantic or being very close to the United States. Don't forget, Yoon went together with the Japanese Prime Minister and the US President. They have a tripartite agreement. Now, Korea and Japan, South Korea and Japan coming together is very, very rare. Yoon went ahead with that. In the assessment, his diagnosis of what the problem was, but the method he used was completely undemocratic. And therefore, I think it was expected that he would be successfully impeached because I don't think democratic governments should use martial law and bring the military in. There's been decades of military rule and military oppression. The South Korean people are very conscious of that. And therefore, I would say that that mistake was terminal. But I hope the person who takes his place will be an individual who, frankly, understands the situation and with social fabric and to frankly, create problems for its economy. South Korea's progress depends on friendly ties with other democracies, and whoever comes should have a clear understanding that Yoon was right, but his method was wrong.
The method was incorrect, and that proved to be a terminal mistake coming in for former President Yoon as well, because he paid a heavy price for it with the opposition-led parliament's impeachment then, and that's the word coming in from Professor Madhav Das. But tell you what, let's get to move on then. The Trump transition team is pushing to driving systems. Tesla has reported over 1,500 crashes under the rule and faced multiple investigations. Based on the data, the recommendation seen as targeting excessive data collection could benefit Tesla if adopted, though it's unclear if the Trump administration will be.
According to local officials, Kiev's military said the facility supplies fuel to Russian troops, deeming it a legitimate target. Russia claims 11 drones were shot down, calling the attack a terrorist attack.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.